Hello Fleet, and welcome to the very first episode of ProTips in 3 minutes. And I've made the series because, well, sometimes I would just like to give you guys practical gameplay tips, and I don't want to drag it on, so, trying to keep things short. And today's very first episode deals with map awareness. And the reason why I made this episode is because I was in a battle, and, we basically scouted the enemy team. They were all south, and this one battleship on our team just kept going around in circles in our cap, and I was just in shock, and I was like, what the hell, why are you still in cap? And if you read the chat, you're gonna figure it all out in just a second there. So how can you avoid doing what this battleship is doing? So here's a few sort of pro tips for all of you. One, super important to constantly be glancing at the minimap. If you want to make the minimap bigger, press the plus sign on your keyboard to make it bigger. Allows you to see things more clearly. The next step towards map awareness is to do a little bit of counting actually. And what I mean by that is count the number of enemy ships that you can see on the map. Where are they? And count the number of ships that are still remaining on the enemy team. By knowing the numbers, you can make predictions based on where they are, where the missing ships might be, so on and so forth. So what I mean by that is in this particular battle, all 4 ships are present and accounted for, and they were all south near their cap. So it would have been very easy to determine that there was nothing anywhere near our cap, so the battleship could have pushed. Now let's take the same battle that you see right now, and instead of having that cruiser, let's throw in a destroyer. Let's say that destroyer took the cruiser's place, hypothetically. Where would this destroyer be hiding, assuming that it is not spotted? So take a look at the map. The 2 battleships are together. That carrier was south there, almost where the battleships were. So that's 3 ships accounted for. There's 1 ship that's missing. Now you take a look at your friendly team. Okay, you've got a cruiser on the 2-3, and you had 2 carriers on the 7 line. If there was a destroyer near the cruiser on the 1-2-3 line, the cruiser most likely would have engaged. On the other hand, the destroyer could not be too close to the carriers, since the carriers had a lot of planes going out, and the destroyer most likely would have been spotted, especially if the destroyer was in the 4, 5, 6 lines, because those carriers are constantly sending planes there. So most likely, the one place that the planes are not going from the carriers is the 8, 9, 10 lines. Most likely, that's where the destroyer would have been hiding. It would have been highly improbable for the destroyer to be in the middle, because there were so many planes crossing that area that had the destroyer hidden there, it would have been spotted by the carriers. The battleship, knowing this, should have, well, at least 5 minutes before this, pushed right down the middle, knowing that he was safe to go straight into the enemy base and cap it, and we would most likely gotten this win. And finally, to quickly recap this pro tip, in order to maintain map awareness, look at the minimap often, use the counting method. If there is a match, then you know where other ships are. If there's a mismatch in the numbers, use map analysis to determine where the missing ships might be. If you like this pro tip and you want more, don't forget to sub.